How Matakayape, Chante Washte Nape Jazupalo, Amichiape, Connor Ryan, Mielo Ikchewichasha Hunkpapa Lakota. I love backcountry skiing because it connects me to the land through a deep relationship of peace, solitude, and exhilaration. We're setting off on an adventure to explore backcountry skiing potential across Lakota territory, from the plains of Nebraska to the Pahasapa, the Black Hills of South Dakota. This is my first opportunity to ski in my ancestral homeland.
The Black Hills is our place of worship and ceremonies, communicate to the Great Spirit, Walkankunka, the Great Spirit. The Black Hills is the heart of Mother Earth.
Does Nebraska have turns or cross-country skiing potential? We had to just go there and find out.
We get in the car and we drive east, away from the snow-capped peaks and into the plains, hunting for patches of snow in the shaded chutes of the bluffs.
We did find cross-country skiing in Nebraska National Forest, but for turns, it was a week too late. The base had melted out. But it's nothing that a new dump of snow couldn't fix.
Blizzard conditions could still develop into the afternoon hours.
It was humbling to find the lines that could be skied in Nebraska. They were steep, and the terrain and snowpack was uniquely demanding. They inspired awe in a way that I had never experienced while skiing. I've never stood atop a line and looked out onto countless miles of prairie. It was intensified by knowing that I was standing in ski boots, looking at a line where my own ancestors could have stood in moccasins, looking for their own path across this landscape.
As part of the history that we've inherited in this country is basically policies to remove indigenous peoples, cultures, and languages from the landscapes that they came from. And I think in many ways I can say, for Native people in other places, reconnecting with land and knowing a landscape is a form of resistance. Because not knowing the landscape and not knowing the cultural traditions tied to it, it's the policies to assimilate us. Those are continuing to work if we continue down that path. So I think there's a power in being able to know how a land operates.
At Natives Outdoors, we seek to reconnect ourselves as athletes and the communities we come from through outdoor adventure and sport.
Yo, it takes a nation of millions to hold us back. This is treaty land. We see these scams. Hey, yo, we know the facts. Evil collapses and cowers in fear.
Black Elk Peak is the highest point in the Pahasapa, the sacred Black Hills. It is a mountain which has hosted traditional ceremonies such as Hanblecha and the welcoming of the thunders for countless generations. For the last century, this holy mountain has been called Harney Peak, the name of a U.S. Army general who massacred 86 Lakota women and children. This name was changed in recent years in an effort by a descendant of General Harney alongside Lakota people to heal the history and the future of this sacred place. With reverence and respect in our mind and hearts, we descend into the rest of the Black Hills, a place which now brings us Lakota both hurt and healing. In this time, a better way forward begins with protecting the land and water from dangerous development, leaving its pristine beauty to be appreciated, not just by native peoples, but also by those who recreate, climbing, biking, hiking, and even skiing in this unique mountain range.
In the winter of 1982, a local man named Pat Krengle opened Bald Mountain Sports near the base of Terry Peak in the town of Trojan, and he started selling telemark gear, and that opened the door for backcountry skiing on a larger scale in the Black Hills.
You know, lots of telly stuff, you know. Of course, there was no snowboards, and you know, or carry your skis on your back, which is more what we did as kids, butte skiing and whatnot. And you know, as the technology evolved, you know, the possibilities evolved just like everywhere else, you know.
This area in the Northern Hills, there's a growing group of backcountry skiers that don't even go to the ski hill. They just go out to some canyons and areas. Everyone seems to have their own private little honey holes they like to keep secret.
There's only a handful of spots in what we call the snow belt here of the Black Hills that consistently has snow.
There's a lot of opportunity for skiing in the upper Spearfish Canyon. In the Black Hills, it's weather contingent. We don't have a consistent snowpack like Western Wyoming would have. We can kind of count on skiing here maybe 3 out of 5 years.
To finally reach an area that offered the kind of terrain that skiers dream of, and find everything blanketed in a few feet of fresh spring snow, it was a moment of deep gratitude. We were exactly where we needed to be, at exactly the right time. It felt like, in this moment, Tunkashila, Grandfather Sky, and Ushimaka, Grandmother Earth, were coming together to make this all possible. We got to have an experience that brought us all together, and it's my hope that adventures like these can become a bond between groups like skiers and native people. For us to have an experience here that is really sacred, but also really enjoyable and powerful, and something that other skiers would be able to look at and understand the magic and the beauty of this place.
Hey, 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 hey.